Hey there, welcome to Something About Tabletop. This is going to be a little bit of an introductory to a pantheon of gods that I use in my games. Um, as bonus points, if you're able to guess one of my themes on these gods and who exactly they actually are, bonus points. It's a pretty obvious theme in some of them, some of them it's a little bit harder. Now, a lot of my friends have played in this world before. It's not necessarily, well, these gods can be used for anything, but there's a specific world that I run them in where the themes of them are even more obvious. But right now, I'm actually going to be running these gods in one of Fantastic Dimensions games that we've kind of cooked up like I guess, a way to run one shots a lot better. So if you're watching this because of those, this is why. I'm going to go a little bit more into the gods than what I may have posted to. So um, these gods, there isn't obvious good and evil gods. Obviously, there are some they have good and evil kind of tendencies, and I'll kind of go into them as I talk about them. So first, I'm just going to go down the list that I put up. So we've got Asadius, the god of dreams, neutrality, and sleep. He is usually depicted as an old, wise-looking man resting in the clouds. His sign is usually that of clouds or something to do with dreams and sleep and stuff like that. He is usually heavily associated with the night or the moon. Asadius is an incredibly powerful god. His realm is everyone's dreams themselves. It is said that when you go to sleep, you go to his realm. Most of the time, you can't remember it, but followers, his clerics, have actually been known to be able to move through dreams, and they are known as dreamweavers. Then there is Ilias, the god of inspiration, desire, and obsession. She is depicted as a beautiful woman with a rose in one hand and a book in the other. This god is also lends towards kind of passion as well, doing things spontaneously, inspiration. She is the person, she helps people who improvise all the time. She gives people bolts of inspiration to do things with unwanted passion, all that kind of stuff. People look to her to give them strength when doing something of the unknown. Though usually the people that tend to follow her are on the worst side of the world. Also, sorry, because this is meant for mainly 5th edition, I'll also do their domains and talk about them. So Asadius is knowledge, and Ilias herself is trickery or knowledge or tempest. Because she's been known with bolts of inspiration, people tend themselves towards lightning magic, and her followers, instead of a normal blue bolt, they're pink. She is also known for trickery and knowledge, and she is also known for her followers giving them wishes and riddles and things like that, and she enjoys testing people. The next god is Drelzabar, the god of arcane power, language, and commerce. Depicted as a large dragon made of gold, heavily etched with arcane runes. His spines and such look like heavenly crafted blades, and his teeth are that of long short swords or knives. He isn't known to breathe fire like normal dragons, but instead he speaks the truest words, and every single word that flows from his mouth is that of an arcane spell. He is heavily, like wizards heavily regard him, and people call on him for power and success in things. Um, he is also known to be basically, he thinks himself one of the more powerful of all the gods, and he likes to hold and keep all the information and power for himself. As of that, his domains are knowledge and tempest. Knowledge is more for most of them are knowledge, but the more war clerics of Drolzabar etch their way towards a tempest. If there was an arcane domain in D&D, that's what he would be. He would be arcane, but there isn't an arcane. So tempest, I think, is really the closest kind of thing to arcane, bolts of lightning, that kind of stuff. Drolzabar was the creator of language, and he is also the creator of the language which wizards use to control magic. He's also been known. He also gives the Great One Warlock pact thing, he does that as well with warlocks and stuff, seeing as he is the giver of knowledge. The next one is Asmodea, the god of light and personal growth, depicted as a holy angel in the center of a beacon of light. His domains are light. Asmodea is, in the way of personal growth, it means he's all about the strengthening of oneself, defeating the enemies. He's all about empowerment of yourself, but in that way for leading others. He is all about becoming the beacon of light. And as such, his clerics usually throw around light and stuff like that. He's not exactly heavily to do with the sun, per se. He's not like a sun god or anything. Asmodea sees himself as the most powerful of all gods. And he can be seen sometimes as an incredibly fickle god, even though he's known to do with light and goodness. The next god is Balgrim, the god of harvest and festivals. He is depicted as a fat, happy man feasting. There isn't really a community domain or anything. He's more all about community, and there's also pretty much his Father Christmas. He has a day once a year where everyone gives ridiculous amounts to each other. I've just given him life for now, seeing as there isn't really a community domain. He might even lend himself towards nature. Then there is, after this is Vindicus, the god of war, fire and vengeance, depicted as a humanoid wolf man, basically a werewolf in humanoid form, in full plate, massive spiked full plate with black with red tinges and accents. Usually in massive battle, his weapon of choice is a massive, bloody, wicked-looking axe. He is most definitely war, as well as light, but light for fire, because you get fireball, burning hands, all that kind of stuff. He is definitely a powerful, vengeful god. Definitely lends himself towards more of the evil side, per se. Then there is Valtorus, the god of betrayal, poison, snakes, and secrets, depicted as a hooded man with a singular glowing eye. This god has a story to do with him, as Valtorus was a powerful, but basically betrayed all the other gods. This is before, when he had 2 eyes, and his eye was plucked by the other gods to reduce his power, and his eye was thrown to the land, the mortal realm. Valtorus is incredibly vengeful, and he plots to destroy the other gods, even pluck out their eyes. Then there is Elcrus, the god of nature and the cycle of life, depicted as a man made of wood with massive stag horns, with one side all beautiful flowers and small woodland creatures, and the other a desecrated forest, burning, and death. He is the god of his domains are life, nature, and death. This isn't your classic nature god. This is your god of the cycle of life. He is all about reducing things from life to death and the balance of everything. He is mainly a god of balance. He's all about only taking what you need, as nature does. And for that reason, he usually forsakes a lot of humans. Following on Elcrus's path is all about realizing that all nature is the same. Life and death are just new stages of life. And, it isn't seen as bad. He is also one of the few gods that actually can resurrect people, bring them new life. Then there is Varden, the god of purity and healing, depicted as a man in beautiful, noble-like armor with a glowing aura. He also wears a crown. He is the god of life, but his domain is life. He is all about purity, and as such, he hates heathens and people that are against him and against being pure. So any horrible kind of necromancy or necrotic magic he utterly hates. Only radiant is allowed. Generally not trusting of wizards and the arcane. He hates all that stuff. He believes that only the most pure can carry that kind of ability. Then there is Riven, the god of hardships, selflessness, and sacrifice, depicted as a woman with a missing arm and a solemn look on her face. Riven was the god that plucked the eye of Valturus, and as such her arm was horribly corrupted and destroyed. This was known beforehand, and Riven ever since then has been known for hardships. She's also known that her clerics are very giving. They tend not to have any personal effects. Any money that they get, they'll give away. Not too many follow her either, as they see her path as rather foolish, because you're not helping yourself, you're only helping others, to almost the point of destroying yourself. Then there's Celeste, the god of love, compassion, and marriage, depicted as a beautiful woman with long, blonde, flowing hair and a welcoming look. She is the one that is called to when a marriage ceremony happens. She is also known about looking at everyone equally, looking at everyone for the best that they are. She is all about love. Her domain is life, the same as Riven and the same as Varden. I think I might have skipped them. Anyway, the next we have Audalis, the god of steel, persistence, and law. And he's kind of the god of war, but he's the god, well, while Vindicus is the chaos and slaughter of war and the passion that is in war. Audalis is the other side. He's the order, he's the ranking, he's all about colonel, corporal, or lieutenant, all that kind of stuff. Audalis is depicted a massive man in full plate with piercing, serious eyes. His armor completely devoid of color, just straight exactly what you need. He is heavily to do with never giving up, never surrender. This is something that the followers of Audalis never do, is surrender and give up. He is also sometimes akin to that of he's okay with slavery, which is an interesting part of him. Basically, you are doing something. He's all about following orders. So he can be sometimes seen as a good or a bad god. Then there is Mayastan, the god of the void, darkness, and forgotten memories, depicted as nothing more than lingering eyes in the darkness. He is, well, the god of darkness, the void, the unknown. Mayastan doesn't have many clerics at all. Those that are, at least in D&D terms, tend to be knowledge or trickery clerics. I was also thinking, but this might be a little bit more of a house rule, probably not going to happen, but light, but kind of darkness and cold, like a light cleric, but darkness and cold, that kind of thing. He is all about not being seen, and he is all about his followers don't tend to see themselves as themselves. They see themselves as a part of the void, the darkness that is everything. He's not necessarily an evil god. He's not like your average god of the void who wants to consume everything. He is simply there. He is one that holds up the darkness. He is the forgotten. He's not evil. Then there is Porthos, the god of diplomacy, peace, and mercy, depicted as a wise man with parchment in hand and a sword turned down. He pretty much, his life is his domains. I was trying to maybe knowledge. I'm not too sure, but I'm going to keep it alive for now. Maybe up to subject for change. He is the god of mercy, diplomacy, talking. He is completely against fighting to get something done. The sword turned down is to show that while he does have a sword, he does not fight with it. That's not what it's there for. It's a piece of honor for him. It is known that his blade has been known to stop wars, but not through cutting. He is a powerful man that is calls upon people to pretty much not to fight, obviously horribly against Vindicus, the god of war, fire, and vengeance. That's all the gods. I'm pretty sure I've hit all of them. Let me just do a quick flop. Yeah, so that's all my gods. Any other questions about them, go ahead. I think I've tried to cover more really what they are. These gods aren't necessarily good and evil, and some of them have more secret sides to them. That is for sure. I'll go off a few, actually. Balgrim, the god of harvest and festivals, sometimes has their clerics practicing blood magic, as that was he is all about. He's all about blood, the life blood kind of thing. Other than that, most of these gods have their own creatures and stuff that usually follow them. I'll just go quickly down from them. So Asadius, they're like these strange dream creatures who can be anything. They only live in the dream realm. They are known to be all of the people that you meet when you're dreaming. Ilias, the god of inspiration, desire, and obsession, has shapeshifters at her side that go around helping people or even hindering people, letting them follow their desires. Drolzabar, the god of arcane power, has powerful half dragons that are followers followed by his side, though they're not the kind of tough half dragons that you would normally think of. Well, humanoid dragons, sorry, they're not half necessarily. They're kind of his bookkeepers in his massive library of knowledge, all wizards and such. As Mygia has powerful angels which he uses to smite his enemies. Balgrim have these strange beasts that after they eat and consume a huge amount, they gain almost indestructibility. They look humanoid. Vindicus, the god of war and fire and vengeance, has been known to call upon men that can morph into wolves that he uses to slay his enemies. Valturus has wyverns. Elcrus has pretty much all the creatures of the land, just normal beasts, animals, and things like that. That he basically has these spirits that enter the bodies of people to talk through them. They use them for a while, and the spirits, anyone that they take over to use, they help them as well. So they always give something before they take. Vardin, the god of purity and healing, also has divine angels at his side that smite his enemies, but usually those of the unpure and evil. Riven, the god of hardship, selflessness, and sacrifice, works by herself. Celeste, the god of love, compassion, and marriage, uses the people of the land to help her just by purely asking them and giving them something in return. Dallas, the god of steel, has constructs, ever moving, ever indestructible at his temples, known to fight forever. Stan, the god of void, people say the shadows themselves are a part of him. Porthos, god of mercy and peace, does not have any minions. Anyway, that's a bit of a rundown of them. They make more sense when they're more tied directly to my world, which I may post a video on if anyone wants to see me talk about my world per se. It's heavily tied to these gods. Otherwise, if there's any other questions about these gods, just go ahead. Or maybe there's some ideas that maybe the types of domains that will work in D&D 5th edition. Anyway, thank you for listening, and hope you have a good day.